Hi everyone, I'm your host Dahal. Welcome to BTT World News. Today, we'll go through the latest news updates from around the globe, beginning with this week's international news updates. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced on Monday that Russia has stationed nearly 50,000 troops, including North Korean forces, in its Kursk region, where Ukraine began a surprise counteroffensive in August. Ukrainian troops are reportedly holding off Russian advances, aiming to establish a buffer zone to prevent cross-border attacks. This incursion marks the first foreign ground invasion of Russian territory since World War II, with Ukraine advancing into hundreds of square miles. The presence of North Korean soldiers, approximately 11,000 according to Zelensky, has sparked questions at the UN Security Council, which Russia declined to address. In Valencia, large crowds gathered to protest the government's response to recent deadly floods, calling for the resignation of regional leader Carlos Mazon. According to Spanish media, including news agency FA, a government source reported that around 130,000 people took to the streets on Saturday. The floods, triggered by intense rainfall in Valencia and surrounding provinces last October, led to the tragic loss of over 200 lives, with 80 people still reported missing. At least 23 people, including 7 children, were killed on Sunday in an Israeli airstrike on the village of Almat in Lebanon's Jabil district, a mostly Christian area outside of Hezbollah's traditional strongholds. The Lebanese Ministry of Health reported body parts recovered from the site are still being identified. In a separate strike later that day, 3 paramedics were killed in Sidon, southern Lebanon. Since the escalation of fighting between Israel and Hezbollah in September, Israeli airstrikes have killed thousands and displaced civilians, with Hezbollah increasing retaliatory rocket and drone attacks. Netflix's offices in France and the Netherlands were raided as part of an investigation into tax fraud laundering led by France's Paquet national financier. The probe, initiated in November 2022, examines Netflix's reported low turnover in France amid rising revenue.
You've probably heard that lawyer fees can really add up, right? Imagine how much money you could save if you handled most of your legal case yourself. With BTT Lawyers now you can. At BTT Lawyers, we understand that family law cases can be really complicated and expensive. That's why we give you complete control over your case and your expenses. Believe it or not, you can handle 70% of your case yourself. With the help of our legal advisors, clear plans and cutting-edge technology, you can manage the key parts of your case on your own. From preparing documents to tracking your case progress, you'll be able to understand and control everything. We're always here to support you through our offices in Preston, Dandenong, Sydney and Canberra. Facing legal issues doesn't mean going broke or giving up on your case. With BTT Lawyers, you'll only pay a small fraction of the typical legal fees. Ready to take charge of your case? Contact us today. BTT Lawyers, with you, for your case.
Now, turning our attention to the latest news updates around Australia. The Australian government has pledged up to $80 million to support struggling regional airline HECS, which entered voluntary administration in July. This funding aims to maintain essential regional routes and provide early entitlements for former staff. Senior Constable Christian White has defended his decision to use a taser on a 95-year-old woman named Clare Nowland, who had dementia and was holding a knife, after repeated verbal warnings were ignored. The incident, which occurred in May 2023, led to Nowland's fall and fatal brain injury. The High Court has invalidated a law requiring curfews and ankle monitors for individuals released from immigration detention, ruling it unconstitutional because it imposes punishment, a power reserved exclusively for the courts. The law was implemented after a decision against indefinite detention, aiming to manage detainees with criminal records. This ruling may set a precedent, with additional cases coming next week from detainees contesting prolonged detention without a realistic chance of deportation. The federal government has introduced plans to revamp university fees, starting with a one-off 20% HECS debt cut as a temporary measure. Education Minister Jason Clare is reviewing their University Accord report, which recommends creating an independent pricing authority to set course fees. Experts argue this interim cut does little for high-fee courses such as arts, where many graduates may struggle to repay debts under the current system. Thank you for listening to BTT World News. Stay tuned for more updates and please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more news updates around the globe and in Australia.